story. I'm Srividya. I'm a mother of two girls. I'm an organizational and social psychologist. I started my career back in the 90s, the early 90s in IT and in HR consulting. And I was there for many years. And what HR consulting did to me is that it allowed me to interview and interface with a whole lot of people out there. Because if you are in HR, then you are talking to people day in and day out. There would be days where I would interview so many people that my whole day would just go. And very often, I would get this feeling that, many of us are lost in terms of what is it that we really want to do with our lives. Our criteria for jobs is very, very surface, or we don't even know. And this was a growing feeling that I had, not just in the people's life whom I was interviewing. I used to also get that in my life off and on. Because you see, when I started with psychology, I wanted to get into counseling and social psychology in a big way. I took up organizational because the scope for that in India was not that high then. It's booming now. So anyway, my journey continued. I wanted to also teach. So I went on to do a PhD. I went abroad and I taught, and I really enjoyed teaching. But this is what started to strike me. That children at 20, 21, 22, 23 are doing undergraduate and postgraduate courses. And if I would really sit down and chat with them, and I would do that often, they would say, I don't know why I'm here. I'm doing this course for my parents. There was a girl who was training to be a computer science engineer, and she says, my parents have told me, just get this degree somehow, and then you do whatever you want. And she wanted to be a stewardess, and they were not open to the option at all. So 4 years of her life in becoming a computer science engineer, and so many lakhs of rupees that were invested. And if that was only a single story, then I would say, yes, it happens. But it repeats itself. In a batch of 450 students that I was teaching, and I was teaching them behavioral sciences, 420 of them did not want to pursue computer science after that particular degree course. And that was telling. Many of these people had student loans. They were unhappy because they were pursuing a course because they felt it will give them a job, which was true. They felt it will give them a good pay packet, which was true. They felt that by doing this, they'll get stability, their parents will be happy. Possibly true. But they were very unhappy doing the course, and they couldn't see themselves pursuing the same thing for the next many years. And so they were disillusioned and unhappy. If that was the story of just that one university, I would say, okay, but it repeated itself. I've also taught in schools, and 11th grade, ma'am, I don't know what subjects to take. You tell me. And I would wonder, how do I tell them? What basis do I tell them? And that's when I started to think of trying to find solutions, because these come not just from students, it also comes from my home, wherein I see the same struggle. What is it that children want to do? There are so many options. How do parents help them navigate? And as an organizational and social psychologist and a person who has a fair amount of experience in counseling, I found myself drawn to providing a service in this area. And that's me. I'm Srividya. I'm a doctorate in psychology. I have over 15 years of experience in HR consulting, education, training, teaching, and counseling. And I started Life Vidya more than a year back, basically as a career counseling and personal growth coaching services for parents, youth, and teenagers. So thank you so much once again for joining. Thank you so much for listening to where I'm coming from, because for me, this is very important. Because if you cannot relate to me, if I'm not able to share my perspective with you, then I'm not able to share the context of why we are meeting today and why I find so much joy and energy in sitting and doing this for children, parents, and teenagers.